And so UCLA is going to get the ball first. And this will go through the end zone, a touchback to the 25 for Ethan Garber. Jovi, we're talking about running the ball, but let's not forget this young man came back from injury last week. He missed the Penn State game previously, had a career high 293 yards completed, 70% of his passes in a loss to Minnesota.
Yeah, and this is the second straight game where he's with this new offensive line. UCLA has had 4 different offensive lines this season. The last 3 games rolling with the same group. Ethan Garbers is confident in this group. They're going to try to run the ball early against his man-to-man coverage look.
With a couple of backs and TJ Harden beside Garbers. And to throw on first down, and that is complete to his tight end Bryce Pierre, his first catch as a Bruin.
You know, it's important to note for UCLA, Rico Flores not going to go. Carter Shaw, don't expect him either. So keep an eye on Keegan Jones. He can play a little bit of running back. He just lined up a receiver on the first snap of the ball game.
This is a thinned out Rutgers defense because of the injuries they've been dealing with. No Aaron Lewis, one of their star defensive ends. Today, injured last week, only played 5 snaps in the loss to Wisconsin. TJ Harden is able to pick up a first down.
One of the biggest keys for Eric Bieniemy and Deshaun Foster in this UCLA Bruin offense is staying ahead of the stick. So success on first and second down. Third down, they've struggled all year. They're averaging third and 7+ yards every time it's on third down. So first few plays of the game, big advantage for UCLA. They really want to commit to just running the football against an injury-depleted defense as you look at some of those keys against man-to-man coverage.
Garbers, and there's Maliki Mataval, and he keeps it going into Rutgers territory. A couple completions to tight ends already in this game.
Talked about one of those keys to the game. Can you win against man coverage? Maliki Mataval, he's flexed out of that tight end position, standing up, looking like a wide receiver. It's a nice advantage, I think, for this UCLA Bruin offense. Easy pitch and catch. Ethan Garbers loves playing catch in between the hashes. We had a chance to talk to him earlier this week. He thinks he can see the field really cleanly within this offense.
Here's TJ Harden. And another good carry for him to make it second down and very manageable. It's a defense that had so many questionables on it, Yogi. It looks like Robert Longerbeam, who was questionable, is in there. That's a big deal. He's number 7 in red. Number 22, you see him right there, Tyreen Powell. He was questionable, battled some injuries. They told us would be a game time decision. He's able to go. But Longerbeam against Sturdivant, 7-on-7, you can see him coming towards the bottom of the screen. That's a big matchup today.
This is the matchup to watch. Top corner for Rutgers, top receiver for the Bruins.
On pressure, Garbers going to Sturdivant, and he can't catch up to it, and it's incomplete. Longerbeam right there on his heels.
You're going to see this all day. This is a very aggressive Rutgers defense. Outside, they want to play press coverage. They want to put their hands on you. You see it there. Look, good release from Sturdivant. Good hands by him. Just missed on the throw. UCLA feels good about this matchup, as does Rutgers. We'll be tracking it all game long.
So now it's third down. And we know what UCLA doesn't historically do here, right?
Only 2 runs on third down all season long. Big part of that is because usually third and long, like it is here on 3rd and 6.
With the play clock low. Pressure coming up the middle. Garber stands in and completes it to Titus Mokiawa Timalala for a first down. Malcolm Ray was coming up the gut with pressure.
Rutgers is a high-pressure team. They bring it to your point again. A lot of times they'll play man-to-man behind that. Look at that perfect route on the angle route. Another beautifully located ball. And a big part of this game for Ethan Garbers is going to be making spot throws, hitting certain spots, because the defenders of Rutgers will be all over. They'll be around the area of these receivers. He's going to have to hit certain areas.
The Jersey native Jalen Berger has come into the game at running back for UCLA. Quick throw out to Titus Mokiawa Timalala, and he's getting some blocks and is able to get it down into the red zone. A nice gain and a clean first drive so far for the Bruins.
Yeah, look, in this cover 4 defense, it's basically man-to-man. And Shaquan Loyal is manned up on the slot receiver there, and just misses the tackle. Nice job of just moving the sticks, getting the ball out. You're seeing UCLA, they're not playing with tremendous tempo guy, but they're trying to find a rhythm offensively. Something they had on the first drive against Penn State. They had it at times early against Minnesota in the first half. Looks like they have it right here in the first drive of the ball game.
We got a fullback in the game, Yogi. Leo Kemp. Garbers, pressure, steps up, and is able to get out and down inside the 10. You know, he missed the Penn State game with an ankle injury a couple weeks ago, but he looked pretty spry last week and looked good again there.
Yeah, keep an eye. He also missed a touchdown, though. Jalen Berger, the New Jersey native, you'll see him right here in the backfield. He's going to run wide open into the flats right there. Wide open, wide open. Garbers doesn't see it, comes off a little early. Shows the athleticism that he has, but there was an opportunity for 6 there for the Bruins.
Jalen Berger, a high school teammate of Rutgers running back Kyle Monungai, highly recruited. And his teammates well aware that they want to get him some action here back home. And he gets that first carry of the game for him. Flip Dixon, who was also questionable, number 10 for Rutgers, made that tackle. So good to see that some of the guys that look like game time decisions for the Scarlet Knights are playing. Third down and short. Do they run it?
They got a fullback in the game. I'm going to venture to say yes. And they'll usually run it left here. That's where they feel the strongest on this offensive line.
Here's Berger. And it looks like he should have it. This is the third carry. I know we're reiterating it, Yogi, but the third carry on third down all year for UCLA.
Yeah, the entire season. Spencer Holstick, he's pulling, following Leo Kemp at fullback, and that number is staggering when you look at it. You got to keep looking at it. You're like, whoa, only 2 runs all season on third down. But they've really struggled on early downs the majority of the year. Not on this drive.
Garbers. Loya, end zone, caught. Touchdown, UCLA. What a drive for the Bruins. Reminiscent of the really nice drive they opened with against Penn State a couple weeks ago on the road.
Well, it's an assist from Ati Malala. You see him run the slant route. It opens things up for Loya. And Loya is the most sure-handed receiver on this team. He's got such a savviness to him, just finding spots and areas. Garbers saw man-to-man coverage, worked that little rub route to perfection.
Mateen Bagani on for the point after. UCLA, they've never been here before, but they're looking at home in the birthplace of college football. A clean drive and a 7-0 lead for the Bruins. Rutgers gets the ball first when we return.
Well, Ethan Garbers is excited. The most complete drive of the season for the Bruins. 11 plays, 75 yards, and most importantly for Deshaun Foster, no negative plays, no penalties, didn't hurt themselves. Second straight game with an opening drive touchdown, but a clean one for UCLA, which is the goal for this one.
Christian Dremel will fair catch it, so that'll come out to the 25-yard line. And you talked about in the open, Yogi, Ethan Kaliak-Manis. They had some drops last week, no question, in a loss to Wisconsin. They've been dealing with that this year. So for him in this offense, they've been pretty anxious to get back on the field.
Yeah, well, how many times did we hear the phrase yesterday, spending time with Greg Schiano? I mean, talked all day long about winning in the margins. Those are the little things, right? That's catching the ball on a slant route. That is when you get an opportunity for an explosive play, making that play, but it's also running the football with Kyle Monungai. They can run the football. They'll open things up for their quarterback.
Kaliak-Manis picks up the pressure, and then he does it. Oluwafemi Oladejo, highlighted on every scouting report, makes the immediate impact.
He's done it ever since he moved to the edge. He's just such an explosive player, not just coming off the edge, but also can line up sometimes in that D tackle position. He's so explosive. He's a challenge for anybody on the offensive line. That time, Kyle Monangai, who's usually pretty stout in pass pro, gets beat by Oluwadeju.
A loss of 8. A lot of movement up front for that UCLA defense, and they back out. Oluwadeju drops into coverage, and that is Monangai who's able to make the catch, and then Kane Medrano along with Oluwadeju for the tackle.
Okay, so this game is all about matchups. The big one is 5 versus 2. Oluwadeju versus this running back, Kyle Monangai. You'll see these two all game long. At times, Oluwadeju will rush. Now he's dropping, basically playing man coverage on the running back, rallies right to him. And you're going to see UCLA play a different style of defense against Rutgers than they've seen all season long. 3 defensive linemen at times. You see right now linebackers standing up. Jay Toia playing defensive end. Now he moves to the tackle. There's just so much movement. Going to force Kaliakmanis to really communicate.
He wants to throw. And he's taking a deep shot. For Strong, and he brings it in. Ian Strong.
How about this catch? The focus. Are you kidding me? One hand, then brings it into 2 hand. Strong up against Jalen Davies. Davies never looks for the ball. What a play. Explosive plays have not been plentiful for Rutgers. They get one on their opening drive.
42 yards. Here's Monangai. Push backwards. Pulled forward, and he gets about 3 yards with a little bit of help.
Take another look at that catch from Ian Strong. He's got to become a playmaker for this offense. He's feeling his healthiest he has all season, been battling some injuries. 1 hand to 2. Nice job of taking advantage of man-to-man coverage.
Coach Shiraka, the offensive coordinator, told us this week we got a couple young guys, Strong and KJ Duff, who we think can step up, be good young receivers in the Big Ten. And Strong making his OC look good there. Kaliakmanis, long throw, and he completes it to Dymere Miller. Another first down.
Yeah, and it's going to be a holding call on UCLA as well. Miller's going to see man-to-man coverage.
Defense number 7. The penalties declined, and the result of the play is a first down.
17 yards.
Yeah, KJ Wallace, he's going to be locked up against Dymere Miller a lot throughout this ball game. UCLA feels as though they can play man coverage against this group. You see it right there in the slot. Almost a takedown. That's an easy call for the officials. Kaliakmanis sees it all day long. Easy pitch and catch. And this passing game, which was non-existent last weekend, is coming alive for Rutgers early.
Wait a second. UCLA is running the ball, and Rutgers is hitting explosive.
Exactly what we thought, right?
Monangai. Big hole. Kyle Monangai puts his shoulder down and gets another first down.
He's a one-cut runner. What does that mean? You put your foot in the ground and you just violently find a way to explode forward. The tight end with a kick-out block. Nice job.
They're moving quickly. Monangai forcing his way down to the 1. You know, talking to Akaika Malloy, the defensive coordinator for UCLA, he said they practice wrestling one-leg takedowns. I've never heard a DC talk about it this way. He said we've got to catch him at a 45 or a 90-degree angle, because if he gets downhill, as Kyle Monangai says, it's just physics.
Yeah, look, 2 plays ago, they got him to move laterally. That's the goal against number 5, is I think we're going to get a little tush-push action. 2 extra offensive linemen in the game, and now a flag comes in. They bring in Terrence Salami and Dante Chin. Chris Coit is our referee. Officiated the national championship.
Offside in the neutral zone at the snap. Defense number 44. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
I mean, might as well try, I guess, is probably the category that's in.
Yeah, the goal here defensively is we see a injured player down for the Bruins.
Siale Taupaki is down on the field, and so 2nd and goal coming up, and Rutgers knocking on the door.
Well, Yes, homecoming, family weekend, and if you got a tie, you get on TV, right? 7-0 UCLA, and our impact players in this ball game, no secret, Kyle Monangai, but how about Holland Pierce at the left tackle position? He against Olawafemi, Oladeja, will track, and Carson Swissinger. He leads the Big Ten in tackles. They're going to have to find a way to the backfield here, as it is 2nd and goal from the 1.
Yeah, this is a wrestling match now.
Yeah,
UCLA just got a half the distance penalty. By the way, Siale Taupaki was able to walk off for UCLA down on the field before the break. So 2 extra offensive linemen in the game. Kaliak Manis waiting for a signal. And he's in. Touchdown, Rutgers. Well, UCLA had their most complete drive of the game to start it. That's Rutgers' first opening drive point since week 1, and their best opening drive of the season. You're supposed to break tendencies in mid-October, right? Jay Patel on for the point after. Riley McCann, the backup punter, is holding here instead of Jacob Anderson. Both teams went marching down the field.
Yeah, and Ethan Kaliak Manis led him with his arm. He finished it off with his legs. We got a tight one here at homecoming. Staff is fired up. He was excited to watch his team play. All claps right there.
Let's take a look at today's team comparison, sponsored by T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network.
Well, I think the biggest thing is both teams are playing with confidence, and you don't see a ton of negative plays, right? UCLA, to your point, running the football, explosive plays for Rutgers offensively. Now it's going to be about adjustments, right? UCLA knows that they're going to face an aggressive man-to-man style of defense. What does Rutgers do here in the second possession of a game, which I think, if the first quarter tells us anything, we're going to have limited possessions this afternoon.
Oh, there's no doubt. Jack Scalene. I mean, we thought that coming in, but it wasn't necessarily because we expected, long touchdown drives based on the history. Here's Keegan Jones still on his feet, and then gets ripped down. A flag comes in around the 10-yard line. They'll check on the penalty.
There's always a healthy debate on return it, don't return it, field position. How many do you really break? Usually tries to return it, nothing doing. And here comes the penalty.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 33. Half the distance to the goal, it's 1st and 10.
So after a great first drive, backed up at their own 5-yard line for UCLA. I mean, we saw UCLA running the ball like they promised they would on that first drive.
And Keegan Jones in the game and running back right now, but we saw a lot of Jalen Berger. Of course, as you mentioned, Guy makes his return to New Jersey, high school teammates with Kyle Monangai. And Deshaun Foster told us he wanted to get Jalen Berger more involved because he's earned touches, and because, as he told the team, this is a massive game for Berger coming back to his home state.
Garbers to throw, and there's Mataval, the tight end.
Guys, how about the involvement of the tight ends here today for UCLA? That's an adjustment that bears following here moving forward. I feel like more involved than we've seen them really all year, especially early on.
Yeah, a big part, I think, Red, is getting Maliki Mataval involved and getting the ball out of Garber's hands. That's the thing that stood out to me in the first drive, and that snap right there is not a lot of him sitting in the pocket and feeling a pressure.
Garber's quick throw, first catch for Quasi Gilmer, and with a block, he breaks the tackle, is able to get a first down.
Again, ball out. Ball out. I mean, Ethan Garber's one of the highest pressured guys in all of college football at quarterback. Finds a way to get it to his freshman Gilmer, who they're very high on. Remember, a week ago, he had to leave the game in the first half due to a targeting penalty, itching to get back on the field, showcasing his athleticism, eluding a tackle there.
Yeah, Yogi, you talk about getting the ball out quick. Even on the deep shot to Sturdivant early, the ball came out on time, trying to limit the effect that this Rutgers D-line can have on Garbers.
Fullback in the game on first down. and play action. Garbers will get it out to Keegan Jones, and he baits a defender to the sideline and gets very close to another first down.
You know, right. I tell you what, as they check it down to Keegan Jones, you can kind of feel the loss of some of these edge rushers for Rutgers. Most importantly, Aaron Lewis not going today. UCLA, they struggled up front. The offense zone, they protect there, allow the ball to get out to Jones.
Garbers is 8 of 9. Look at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. 76 yards and a touchdown pass. This is the second drive of the game for UCLA. And Garbers gets it out quickly. Another completion to Bryce Pierre, the tight end. That's his second of the game. That's 4 catches for tight ends already today.
And you know what, guys? I think we look at the loss of a player like Mohamed Touré, who Rutgers has been without their best defensive player on the second level, right? A little bit beat up in the linebacker core. Tyreen Powell kind of in and out of the lineup right now, still coming back from his injury that caused him to miss a week ago. And it feels like Eric Bieniemy is trying to take advantage of that second level and some of those guys in the back end at the safety spot that were a little questionable coming in.
Yeah, and I think a big part of those tight ends is who they're going to face, right? Keontae Hamilton goes from D tackle to now playing defensive end for Rutgers at the bottom of the screen.
Some movement up front. It looked like Jack Peterson.
False start offense, number 28. 5-yard penalty, first down. Correction, number 29.
You're seeing Rutgers try to match personnel groupings. Sometimes they're playing with 5 DBs. Sometimes, here we go, they're going to change now. Sean Foster trying to calm everybody down. Remember, this drive started way backed up. And you can see him mixing and matching personnel groupings. Offensively, you always want to try to dictate terms. But with the injuries to Rutgers defensively, UCLA feels they can do that early on in this ballgame.
Straight to the ground. Keegan Jones is able to pound forward for a first down, erasing the penalty and moving the chains again out to the 38.
I love the three-headed monster that UCLA has at running back. Asked Ethan Garbers to kind of describe all 3 of their skill sets to us, and it was Keegan Jones who he said is more the speed guy, the make you miss guy in the hole, and don't be afraid. He's not afraid to get it done in between the tackles, which we saw right there. I'm sure we'll get to see Jalen Berger again, who we call the old man of the running back group here later on this drive.
Does old man, does that cut deep if you're only 23 years old?
It's got to.
Garbers on the move. Now turns back and through the hands a little behind Pierre. He was looking for a tight end again. Shaquan Loyal in coverage.
Well, he was really trying to find his receivers, but they were gloved by this secondary. Really nice job by the back end at Rutgers, and to the point that Rhett made about running the football. No surprise, right? Eric Bieniemy, they want to run the football. Sean Foster, they want to run the football, but now you're in a traditional passing down on third down where Rutgers traditionally brings pressure. So Garbers is going to have to anticipate where it's coming from, and UCLA is going to have to win against typically man coverage when Rutgers blitzes. It's zone coverage.
Sturdivant in motion. Garbers throws another first down to Matavao into Rutgers territory. Abram Wright brings him down, but the Bruins convert again.
It's such a big part of the evolution of this offense is just understanding time and space, right? It's a third down. Look at the route. 88 right in front of you. Get past the sticks. Oftentimes we've seen UCLA at times complete a ball on a third down, but they're a yard short. It's the little things in the evolution under Eric Bieniemy and Deshaun Foster that we watch week over week grow. They just never have had consistency for the entirety of a ball game.
Third catch of the game for Matavao. Garbers checks it down. TJ Harden, the running back, is leading receiver and is able to get positive yards before DJ Jabome brings him to the turf.
I'll tell you what, as we come to the end of one here, Ethan Garber is seeing already. He is seeing the field as clean as he has in his entire career at UCLA. How does Rutgers adjust? They got to force him to hesitate just a hair because the Bruins are feeling it right now offensively.
All right, Coach, UCLA's offense with a couple of sustained drives here. What do you want to see from your defense here to get them off the field?
Well, they're checking the ball down, doing a good job with that. We got to tackle a little bit better, but we got to get a little more downhill and be a little more aggressive in the run game.
Offensively, what do those explosive plays do for you that you saw in the first drive?
Yeah, it's what we need to do. We have players that can do it. We need to do it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Yogi, what do you think?
He's right on forcing UCLA to check the ball down. And the thing that UCLA is doing is something they have not done consistently this season, which is just execute. Forcing them to do it is a key part of this game plan.
Garbers throws it back to Harden. That gets sniffed out, and Harden goes down. Loss of about 7 yards. Malcolm Ray and DJ Allen all over it.
Yeah, so is Tyreen Powell. Let's see him 22. He'll show up right there at the top of the screen. He saw that one. It seemed like pre-snap. And now this is advantage Rutgers. UCLA is in a 3rd and long situation, an obvious passing down. What do they decide to do? They brought pressure, they played coverage, and they played man-to-man. They look as though they're lining up in their traditional man-to-man coverage, one deep safety look.
Garbers has gone to the tight end a couple times when he's needed it. He's going that way again, but it's batted and incomplete.
They get pressure. Hands up, time it up beautifully. Let's see who gets a paw on it, guy. Woo. Nice job, Jabome making another play for this defense.
Offense is staying on the field. 4th down and 8.
Looks to be a similar coverage. It'll be a pooch.
Yeah, Garbers backs out. And gets a good bounce. Sturdivant is going to roll down. UCLA doesn't score, but they flip the field. This drive started on the 5. That's where Rutgers is now. Next week, catch Fox College Football Friday for a showdown at the LA Coliseum, where Kyle Monangai powers Rutgers against Miller, Moss, and USC. It all kicks off Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on Fox. Look at where Kyle Monangai ranks this year. I mean, he has really burst onto the scene last season, and he has just carried it over into this season.
And what's amazing is his story, right? Rhett Lewis talked about it earlier in the first quarter, but dramatically under-recruited. His high school coach had to sell the head coach here at Rutgers, Greg Schiano, on him. He did just that, and now look at those numbers. He's just such a dynamic player and an impressive young man we spent some time with this week.
That'll be the first meeting between Rutgers and USC. We had a stoppage there, but no penalty. It'll be the 3rd time Rutgers has ever been to the state of California next week.
Yeah, that'll be a late one for their body clocks, but every coach is dealing with that. Deshaun Foster worked on it this week. The Rutgers staff will be all over that next week.
Kaliak Manis is going to carry it and slide forward across the 10. Creates a little breathing room.
Look, late last week in their game against Wisconsin, all of a sudden you turn on the tape and you're like, oh, a lot of zone read, a lot of QB runs. Right there, another one. UCLA, nowhere to be seen coming off the edge. Kaliak Manis, he's athletic enough to keep it. He and Garbers, I think, are pretty similar in that regard.
Plenty of time. Helmet communication from the offensive coordinator cuts off with 15 seconds on the play clock. Kaliak Manis will hand it to Monangai. Good luck. That's a 1st down. You know, Yogi, we talk about the defensive issues for Rutgers. The tight ends, they're down 2 today.
Yeah, they are. Right here is Mike Higgins, so he's got to elevate. He and Logan Blake have played today. This is a staple play for them. Where they're going to go backside. They put a body on a body, and Monangai, his patience is one of his most elite traits, and then finishing through defenders for a 1st down. I mean, how many times have we seen that for him?
Kenny Fletcher and Victor Konopka, the 2 tight ends, both announced this week out for the season. So they're down to tight ends 3, 4, maybe 5. Pressure comes off the edge. Kaliak Manis steps up, taking a shot for Dremel. Christian Dremel was the leading receiver last year for Rutgers. Has not played hardly at all this year, but they're going back to him today.
Yeah, they love everything that he stands for. I mean, he is you know, the prototypical Rutgers guy, right? I mean, a try-hard guy, tremendous effort, too many drops, to be blunt, for this receiving core over the last couple weeks, where this offense has scored 7 points per game in their last 2 outings. He comes back into the starting lineup.
Is it any accident that guys like him and Monangai are Rutgers guys, are from Jersey? Both went to Don Bosco Prep.
His man-to-man coverage again.
On second down, Kaliakmanis, and he's going to pull it down again. And he's got a first down, and he steps out of bounds near the 30.
Again, another zone read. Lead block from the tight end. Takes out Devin Apu, and it's easy around the edge for the quarterback. Again, athletic enough. He's going to keep you honest. We know what the focus is. You can see the entire defense, both linebackers, going with Kyle Monangai right out the back door. Goes QB1.
Is part of this that Sam Brown, the backup running back, is out? They don't have a lot of depth behind Monangai.
Well, I think part of it is they've had success. They've got to keep this defense of UCLA honest. Right now, they're trying to crash on the back every snap.
More pressure. Good protection. Long throw. Caught Miller again. His second big chunk play today.
Yeah, nice job by the staff of Rutgers, seeing that Brian Addison, he went out in the previous snap. In comes Croy Stewart. They go right after him on the corner route. Second time this game they've run this concept. Man-to-man coverage. You want to throw it all the way to the sideline. Give your wideout enough room to run to the ball. Kaliakmanis, deciding where the ball has never been an issue. It's just the location of it is where he's struggled a little bit the last couple weeks.
Been on point today. 4 of 5 for 78 yards and some big chunk plays. That one was 15. Monangai back to the ground, dragged down by KJ Wallace.
I'll tell you, with all the tight end movement really taken, we haven't said Carson Schwessinger's name at all in this ball game, right? I mean, leading tackler in the Big Ten. And the goal for UCLA is to try to get him to run through as much as possible, meaning they can take up the offensive line with some defensive bodies and then allow him in a matchup against Kyle Monangai just to make plays, right? This is captain on captain, leader on leader. This is a matchup UCLA was trying to get going in this ball game. Haven't seen it thus far.
Schlesinger came into play today, second in the nation in solo tackles. Kaliakmanis with time. Another shot again for Dremel, incomplete. Oh, that's Ben Black, but it's out of bounds. Ramon Henderson there in coverage.
Henderson's going to want this one back because he never looks back, and he's lucky that the wideout does not run back and jump into him in Ben Black. Ben Black's got to put his right foot in the ground a little bit and jump into the DB, maybe possibly get a pass interference. How about that, too?
Great catch. That would have been the second one-handed catch of the day. Ian Strong had one on the first drive for Rutgers. Now it's 3rd and long. Monangai. And this is going to be 4th down and less than 2 into UCLA territory.
Taj White done a nice job there in the interior offensive line. Schlesinger ran through. He put it all over him. And yeah, this is a situation. If you see Coach and the intensity that he has, Coach Shiano, he's going for it, no doubt.
Rutgers is lined up and just waiting patiently for UCLA to get set up.
Tell you what, they want to run it away from Jay Toia, number 93, lined up to the right of the center.
And they'll take the delay of game. And so now it'll be 4th and 7, and the punt team will come on.
Well, we talked to Coach Shiano a bunch about field
delay
position.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
I could have seen them going for it in that regard. But he talked to us a lot yesterday about winning in the margins. And part of that is winning the field position battle. So he's thinking, hey, can we back up UCLA? Can we get a 3-and-out? Get even better field position. This is how he's always looking at this ball game. He's looking at the clock. He's looking at possessions.
Jacob Anderson, who was not into hold on that last PAT. The backup punter was into hold, but Anderson is out to punt. And he gets it off towards Logan Loya. And he'll fair catch it inside the 10. So the two teams exchange field position here in Piscataway. Well, Greg Schiano returns after that first stint that was prolific at Rutgers, right? He comes in and turns them into a team that he really felt like a program that was on the precipice of getting into the Big Ten. Then initially they didn't. He leaves, he goes back to the NFL. Things founder a little bit here. Then they're in the Big Ten. It's one of the great moments, he said, of his career to find out, but heartbreaking because he wasn't here for it. Now he's back and trying to get things rolling again.
Yeah, I really appreciated his time and vulnerability yesterday with us around this program. I mean, he loves everything that Rutgers stands for, and the toughness, the resiliency. You know, he used the line yesterday, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? Kind of the phrase around this region of the country. It's not an easy program to play for, but it is worth it if you can find your way to success.
So UCLA, after Rutgers flips the field, hands it to Jalen Berger on the first play of the game for a short gain. We were in his office yesterday, and after about 45 minutes, we said, what is that music? He's like, oh, well, my office is just above the locker room. They love Jersey dance music down there, and it's like being above a spin studio or something, right? It's so loud, but he just got a big smile on his face. He said, I know it means they're down there having fun. Yeah. And that makes, I've come to enjoy the fact that I never get any quiet in my office.
Yeah, I also love his view of the parking lot, so he can tell when players are coming and going and what their body language is.
Fumble, Garbers picked it up. He was trying to get it to Berger, a little miscommunication.
I think that's on the quarterback, Ethan Garbers. Berger leaves a little early. The quarterback's job is to put it into the belly of the back. You'll see it. It's never really there. Berger doesn't even think he's going to get this thing. Almost hits on his rib pad. Heads up play by Garbers to not make a bad play even worse.
3rd and 12.
Keep an eye on 28, Jabome. This is a guy whose impact has been felt. And look at this alignment. 3 defensive linemen to the right of the center.
Garbers from his end zone cuts it loose, and it's caught. This is going to be very close. Mokiawa Timalala, you can see the mark on the far side of the field is definitely short of the 19. Which makes it 4th and 1. Let's see where he gets. 2.
Well, really nice job of Garber just staying on time in the pocket. Let's see that right knee goes down.
Yeah, but the ball, where's the ball?
Ball's in his left arm, I think.
Yeah, ball, they need to get
the ruling of the runner short of the line to gain is under review.
All right, so we get our first review today. That would be a huge conversion. That was the longest 3rd down distance for UCLA today so far. He needs the 19-yard line here.
Keep an eye on that right knee.
So
that's so close.
Yeah, the question is, where is the ball?
Yeah, when the knee goes down, at this angle, here's a shot right here. Keep an eye on that right knee. And then where's the ball when the knee goes down? It's got to be past the 19. It looks like he might be over, guy. I mean, it's so close. But you're not necessarily right down the line.
Right. Remember, they in the replay center, they can stitch several images together.
The question is the ball in his left hand or right hand, I think, at this point? Because he covers it up with both.
Let's see. We want to look for his hand here, Yogi. That's what you're saying.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's so tight. That's so tight.
After review, the ruling on the field stands is called. It's 4th down.
Because what are we looking for? Clear and obvious.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's clear and obvious. It isn't clear and obvious to me, the decision. Right? What does Sean Foster do? He wants to be aggressive in this game, and I get where you are, and it's a tie ball game. You're feeling good about your team and the opportunity today.
Isn't this a field position game?
I think it is, and I also think it's a confident game. Right? This is a group that looks like they're going to go for it here on a 4th down. Remember, they lined up previously on a 4th down as a pooch punt. Right. Totally different area in the field. This, to me, looks like you're going for it. And if it's a QB sneak, the biggest key is a little bit of patience for Ethan Garbers.
UCLA's not been a running team this year, but they've been one so far today. 4th and 1, and Garbers gets it.
I like the call, man.
Wow, that's guts.
Yeah, it's belief, really. And I think for both of these programs we talked about in the open, right, you got to come in here. They're licking their wounds. It's been a tough couple weeks for Deshaun Foster's group. And he goes, look, our guys are playing with confidence. Tolls on the field in pregame. They're ready to go. I like the call. And it's a nice job of Ethan Garbers. Sometimes you see quarterbacks pop up a little too high, try to go over the top. He stays low to get a first down.
Deshaun Foster always looks so unflappable over there on the UCLA sideline. Here's Harden going nowhere.
And the challenge is you spread out Rutgers in your UCLA. You're thinking, okay, we can run the football against this. The problem is these linebackers are playing with such athleticism inside for Rutgers. I've read and seen it all game long from down there, and they are flying to the football. So then you say, okay, let's compact it. And that, to me, I think is Rutgers' advantage on their defensive line against the UCLA front.
Garbers on the move. And another catch for Mokiawa. Timalala having a good game.
Okay, so
near another first down.
And a nice job there of recognizing, again, man coverage. So you're going to have J. Michael Sturdivant and company. They're going to run in-breaking routes, really take away all those outside defenders, and then find really what has been the best weapon thus far today for UCLA. And, man, is it good for them to have Mokiawa Timalala back. He's banged up the majority of this season.
He definitely had possession as he went out of bounds, right? I wonder if the replay booth is wondering the same thing.
The ruling of a catch is under review.
Yeah, that last replay, okay, I started to wonder. He gets 1 foot down. Does he? The ball is kind of moving in his hands. So left foot still down. When it comes up, does he already have possession?
Left foot down, no problem being inbounds.
Remember, as we just saw in the replay a moment ago, it's not what we think, it's what we know. I know Dean Blandino was watching this back in LA. Let's bring Dean in, our rules analyst. What do you see here, Dean?
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. It's third down.
All right, so call stand.
So they were looking at control of the football. It was ruled a catch, and there was some movement as the receiver was going out of bounds, like you guys just talked about on the previous play. It's got to be obvious, and they felt this wasn't clear and obvious. The rulebook does talk about slight movement. It's not a loss of control. Obviously, they felt that was slight movement.
All right, very well. Thank you, Dean. So play stands. 4th catch of the game for Mokiawa Timalala to lead UCLA, and it's third down and very short. And on flag.
False start, offense, number 54, 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's the key right guard, Josh Carlin.
And that's the second true unforced error for the Bruins thus far. A big point of emphasis. Remember, he's calling out all of the calls. Can't really see it there. But he's a former center, so he's going to make all the identification calls. You see him right at the right guard. He's going to call out and point out who the middle linebacker is, where the blocking he's going to go to.
Pressure coming. Garbers checks it down. Keegan Jones, the running back, has the first down, and it's another conversion for the Bruins.
Oh, this is an impressive play from Ethan Garbers. So you're going to see the route right here. It's going to be a little angle route. We've seen this a few times. You're also going to see blitz that way as the play unfolds. Here comes the pressure, untouched. Garbers can see the rotation of the defense, floats the ball, a little touch pass, if you will, on the angle route, just beyond the fingertips of Keontae Hamilton.
Garbers is 15 of 18 passing in this first half. Sets up the screen. There's Harden with a block in front, and he's going to go get another first down for UCLA. Moses Walker on his back finally to end that play.
I think a big part for the Bruins' success moving the ball in this game, you referenced Garber's numbers, they're phenomenal, is that I think he's seeing a really clean picture. And a part of that is because the injuries on the defensive side for Rutgers. They don't have some of their key contributors coming off the edge that they're traditionally used to, and Aaron Lewis and Wesley Bailey, two guys that have impacted every team they faced.
Well, they're both 6'5", 260 plus, too. They're big guys. They make it hard to see. Harden gets bottled up immediately. Tyreen Powell was the first man there.
It was cool talking to Greg Schiano about so many young guys having an opportunity to play. He's like, I can't wait to watch some of these new faces get an opportunity. This is a true developmental program. They take a lot of pride in that, recruiting locally, growing guys throughout this program.
So 2nd down and 12 now at midfield. Already a 4th down conversion on this drive. Garbers steps out of the pocket, makes a man miss. Still on his feet, Ethan Garbers down the sideline. Touchdown, UCLA. Where did that come from?
Touchdown, UCLA.
If we would have told you that the most explosive run for UCLA was coming from number 4, you said you're crazy. He sees a running lane, no problem. Puts the brakes on not once, but twice, all the way down the sideline, picks up some incredible blocking by his receivers downfield. Yeah, he's excited, man. One of the biggest plays in his career, easily running the rock.
49 yards on that run. I told y'all.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying right now.
Well,
there he goes.
Look, his big brother Chase played the NFL for a little bit. He was the athlete of the family. Garber told us this week, not so fast, my friend. Puts the brakes on, and away he goes down the sideline. Ethan Garber saying, I can do it too. Bruins up 7.
Ethan Garbers just broke off a 49-yard touchdown run, the UCLA quarterback, to put the Bruins back on top. Their first ever meeting with Rutgers, their first trip here. And now Rutgers will have a little bit of time before the half to try and match them. Longest run of the year for a Bruin.
Of any player, putting the brakes on Desmond Igbinosun. And all the way down the sideline, excitement on the Bruins sideline after their longest run of the season from their team captain.
Ethan Garbers just put UCLA back on top with his career longest run, and Rhett Lewis is observing things down on the field. What are you seeing, Rhett?
Garbers coming off the field. I think he was still catching his breath after that run. Then he went and sat down with the coaches, looked at the drive on the iPad, and by the end, he let out an audible woo-wee, admiring his work down there.
Deserved. Now Rutgers has some time, Yogi. This is just their 3rd drive of the first half. Possession's been at a premium. Kaliak-Manis has had the pass game going. That's Ian Strong with his 2nd catch.
And that is the 3rd time they've hit that exact route against this defense. Having success. It's man coverage against the slot. Corner route. Well thrown ball. Rutgers trying to get 2 possessions here. They're going to get the ball after the 3rd.
Tempo and on the money again. This time KJ Duff. Is this the same passing game from last week?
Well, look, we were here in training camp. You could tell the efficiency, again, the discernment of Ethan Kaliak-Manis. His command is the thing that stands out. We're seeing it on this drive.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Almost moving too fast. They take a breath. They don't want UCLA to get the ball back here in this first half. So a 2-minute timeout. Rutgers plenty of time to try and even this up.
Coming up on the State Farm Halftime, 6th-ranked Miami with a tricky road matchup at Louisville. Undefeated Indiana looks to stay perfect against Nebraska. And why is USC trending in the wrong direction under Lincoln Riley? Guy Yogi, I'm going in the right direction because I'm going to get some coffee. Y'all want some? I can bring it back to you. Just let me know.
Thank you, Mike. Luckily, we're good. Yogi travels with so many snacks. And halftime is snack time.
Let's go.
2-minute timeout. Rutgers moved the ball down the field very quickly after UCLA scored to take a lead. They're at the UCLA 44.
Every defensive lineman is standing out.
Monangai is tackled around the kneecaps by Sharif Say.
Okay, look, this is only the third drive of the game for Rutgers, right? But UCLA's game plan is to force him to go sideways. That is the goal in this zone running scheme. They want him to go sideways, 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 and then allow one of these linebackers like Carson Swessinger, who's now lined up over the center, to make a play in the backfield.
Listen to this. UCLA 7 yards of play. You think that must be the best of the game? Rutgers is 8 yards per play so far today. Another big gain and another connection with Ian Strong.
Yeah, this game is so beautiful because when players are asked to step up and elevate, they either answer the bell or they don't. And for both of these teams, they have. Ethan Kaliak-Manis, the last 2 weeks, not nearly as accurate as he was in the spring or in training camp or early this fall. We're seeing him play his most efficient ball game of the season right now in Big Ten play.
3 catches for 59 yards for Strong today. That was a 12-yard pickup. Pressure, another long throw, looking for Strong. That time there was some contact. Rutgers sideline wants a flag on Kalen Moore, but they're not getting it.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are getting it. They're getting off coverage. And I think what we're seeing now is the adjustments from both coaching staffs. For UCLA, they started this game a little bit more press coverage. Now they're playing off, trying to drive on the ball here in a 2-minute drill, 2-minute opportunity. What does Rutgers do? Do they take the easy completion, or they try to go downfield again?
Check down Monangai, ball's out, incomplete pass. He was hit by Kalen Moore. We talk about breaking habits. Monangai had 1 catch coming into the game today. That was his 2nd target today. And a player's down for Rutgers. Monangai is the player that's down. They're at the 30-yard line. It was Moore that came in to make the hit. It was ruled an incompletion.
I think it was a collision, too. You thought at first Monangai was wide open. He showed man coverage and then ended up playing zone, drove on that little check down to the sideline, and the collision was one that hopefully is not too bad because Kyle Monangai is one of the most talented and toughest players in the country.
Clock stops at 1:16. Rutgers down 7. They will get the ball first in the second half. Monangai, the young man from New Jersey, went to Don Bosco Prep. Now let's go down to Red.
Yeah, what a run game it was for Don Bosco with both Monangai and Jalen Berger there in their senior years. And it was Berger who had the majority of the attention from recruiters, but it was Monangai and the relationship between Dan Sabella, the head coach there at Don Bosco, and Greg Schiano that led him to Rutgers, and kind of a last-second type of deal for Monangai, who is up and walking off the field, which is great to see. But Dan Sabella said that Kyle Monangai, more than any other player he has ever coached, had the greatest ability to maintain his velocity, to maintain his speed through cuts, and that was so valuable for his program and has been very valuable here. But guys, that his high school journey kind of mirrors his journey here at Rutgers. You know, he was overlooked in high school. He was overlooked here at Rutgers early on, and then finally, midway through last year, really kind of became the guy and ended up being the Big Ten's leading rusher.
Yeah, as you said, Red, good to just have him up and walking off the field. Hopefully he's going to be okay. And, you know, obviously we got halftime coming up, and maybe that'll give him some time. But he's meant so much to this program, not just winning and losing, just what he represents. And now they got to go to Antoine Raymond. It's the first time we've seen the backup running backs today. Sam Brown, normally the backup, injured and out. And so now it's 3rd down.
And you're feeling for Rutgers, they had all the momentum you can imagine in that 2-minute drive. They're going to try to get a score, maybe a touchdown, and then they get the ball to kick off the second half. And here we are for a field goal attempt.
49 yards. Jake Patel was 5 of 7 last year from 40 plus, but this year 0 of 2. And that is good. So Rutgers gets points with 1:08 remaining in the first.
Yeah, for all the things they went through on that drive, net out with a positive for Coach Shiano's squad. Hopefully, to your point, Kyle Monungai can go in and get healthy for this second half after that hit. As we look at nice hold there, and then it was kind of a hook right to left, just like you swing them, right, Guy? Critical points there for Rutgers, though, before the half.
Riley McCann, the holder. And so the 3rd possession ending in points. Just 3 possessions in the first half for Rutgers. Incredible. That's their fewest since 2015. Coming up tomorrow on FS1, it's game 6 of the NLCS. Francisco Lindor and the Mets take on Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on FS1. You can't walk into a restaurant in this area and not see a New York team on TV playing baseball. Great sports time of year. So Keegan Jones is going to be back. UCLA's got 3 timeouts, Yogi, and they know Rutgers is getting the ball first in the second half. Jones is going to fair catch it. Ethan Garbers had plenty of time to catch his breath after that 49-yard touchdown run. He's had a great day.
Yeah, he's absolutely seen the field. Tremendous discernment, efficiency, ball placement. Logan Loya to kick the party off on their opening drive. And you just watch him work the field. You see his eyes. And then we saw his legs there. Put the brakes on, and away he went for the longest run of not only his career, but the UCLA Bruins season on the ground.
And you look at the note at the bottom, you know, some credit to the decision making too. They went for it 4th and 1 at their own 19 and got it to continue that drive. Garbers spins out and it loses a yard. What'd you see?
Well, first one, nice run. Next, you just want to throw the ball and lift to another down. I mean, here we are in this situation.
Timeout, Rutgers, their first of the half, 30 seconds.
Rutgers ends up using the timeout here, but for UCLA, in this situation, you need mastery from the veteran and Ethan Garbers on the situation. Rutgers is only going to rush 3 or 4 here. They're going to try to force you to check the ball down. Check it down, work the middle of the field, see if you can give your offense an opportunity for points before the half.
Both quarterbacks have been really efficient today. The Garbers, not just the run, I mean, as you just said, Yogi, he's thrown it well. Kaliakmanis, they were moving very efficiently before that Monungai injury, too.
I think the biggest thing for Ethan Kaliakmanis is the accuracy. That was the thing that I know he worked on in advance of this game. But he's been under some pressure. There's been some drops, but also hasn't been perfect as a quarterback in the accuracy department. His most efficient game in Big Ten play.
Do you think it's the first time Ethan's played Ethan?
I think so.
In a football game? So after the Rutgers timeout, 2nd down. Garbers, Matavao open all day long, and a big gainer. That's 20 yards for UCLA, and they're moving quickly.
Yeah, that's a nice job by the Bruins recognizing zone defense, not the traditional man-to-man coverage zone again.
Garbers gets it out to Keegan Jones. He makes a man miss, sprints down the sideline, and is forced out, but he's in Rutgers territory.
I'm really impressed with what Eric Bieniemy has done with Keegan Jones today. He's lined up at wide receiver. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. He's probably the most dynamic player they have when the ball is in his hands. Eric Bieniemy told us earlier this week So much about this offense is understanding the intent of the play, and it's an NFL scheme. This is not something you can just implement overnight. It's taken some time for this Bruin offense to get comfortable.
Garbers gets it down to Jones again. Nice catch by the running back. He gets out of bounds after a short gain, tackled by Bo Masco.
There's an old adage in QB play on a 2-minute drive. You're thinking touchdown, check down, and you got to get the ball out. And if you check it down, the back work immediately to the sideline with 41 ticks left. UCLA has all of their timeouts, so they don't have to just take shots. They can be efficient with the ball. Again, Ethan Garbers is most comfortable working in between the hashes. We've seen it with his tight end Mataval a few times today.
Garbers quick again. Loya spins away from the tackler. And Logan Loya, another first down for the Bruins. Clock stops while they place the ball.
I'd imagine this is an opportunity. Oh, they're going to go. They're going to roll with it here. Seconds are ticking off the clock.
And Garbers just puts it in the ground. Clock stops at 27 seconds. Let's go back to the previous play.
Nice job. Ethan Garbers just recognizing the coverage. And how about Loya? He just got such a feel. The ball's thrown to his right. He feels the defender. He goes back to his left. He's such a savvy receiver. A little bit of a block there. Look at his fellow wide out. Nice job from Mokiao Atimalala.
Sturdivant, the man in motion. Garbers gets it out quick. TJ Harden, touchdown Bruins. This is without a doubt the best half of football UCLA's played this year.
And this is one of the most dynamic plays they've called all year. This is a flood concept. They flood an area with a bunch of eligible receivers, and then they run their running back, TJ Harden, right down the alley, right down the seam. Playmakers are touching the rock today for the Bruins.
299 yards of offense in the half. That's the most this year. And Yogi, this is the first time UCLA scored 20 points in a game this year, and they've done it in the first half.
You talk to people around the program, they're like, it's coming together. We talked to Ethan Garbers earlier this week. We were in practice earlier this week. They knew it was coming. Again, they flood the area, and then again with that angle route. They've ran it 4 times now today. TJ Harden, that's his first time doing it. It was Keegan Jones, it was Logan Loya, it was Titus, variety of guys. But Eric Bieniemy has found an area, a matchup that he can take advantage of. He has with multiple players.
That was a fast scoring drive for the Bruins after the Rutgers field goal.
Think about what's happened in the last 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Right, here comes Rutgers moving the ball, 2-minute timeout. Kyle Monunga gets injured. This place was rocking. All of a sudden, the energy comes out of it. UCLA gets the ball back, and they just had the drive we just saw, and Rutgers gets another shot at it.
This is skied in the air, and coming up, Christian Dremel to make what was a difficult catch. 22 seconds, 2 timeouts left for Rutgers. They will get the ball first in the second half. We have seen them hit explosives and move the ball, Yogi. So is this a situation 75 yards away? Do you think about trying to get down the field again?
I would. I mean, especially with this UCLA secondary, there's been times where I thought PIs were an opportunity to call in the back end if the receivers jump back into the DB. I'd take a run at it here. Why not?
Antoine Raymond is in the game at running back, not Kyle Monunga. They're going to give it to him. And Raymond gets tackled by Carson Schlesinger. And Greg Schiano is already headed for the tunnel, so that tells us that Rutgers is headed for the tunnel. 21-10 at the half, UCLA.
Well, easily for the Bruins.
It's been a fun afternoon, and for the Rutgers fans, everything's been great except for the score. But here's the thing. UCLA was up 10 last week at the half at home. Minnesota came back on them, and Rutgers is going to get the ball first here to start the second half. Let's go down to the field and Rhett Lewis. Rhett?
Well, I asked Deshaun Foster coming off the field if he had Ethan Garbers as the guy who had the longest run of the season coming in. He said not necessarily, but it doesn't surprise him because he considers Garbers football player first, quarterback second. As for the run game, outpacing Rutgers' vaunted rushing attack, he said it's all about more attempts that they've had in this game. I expect that to continue here. As for Greg Schiano, his message to his team was simple. One word: tackle. We have to tackle to get off the field and get our offense more possessions. Asked if Kyle Monangai was going to be okay. Schiano said simply, he'll play.
All right, Rhett, but he's not out there to start this second half. The star running back for Rutgers, one of the leading rushers in the league, injured at the end of the first half on a tackle. He was warming up with the team in the second half, but it's Antoine Raymond out there to start this third quarter, and Nathan Kaliak-Manis to throw. And it's the third catch of the game for Dymere Miller.
They go right back to the well. Right? This is the fourth time they've hit this exact route. Man-to-man coverage, no problem. Going up against KJ Wallace. They run the corner route. Again, you throw it away from the defender, right in front of the sideline. Discernment, decision, accuracy, check, check, check for Ethan Kaliak-Manis.
Rutgers only had 3 possessions, plus, one at the end of the half, 22 seconds, kneel it out. Kyle Monangai back into the game for Rutgers at running back. Kaliak-Manis right on the money. Christian Dremel. This Rutgers, the problem in the first half, they ran 14 fewer plays than UCLA, but they've thrown the ball effectively.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Akaika Malloy, the defensive coordinator for the Bruins, makes an adjustment here as we see Kyle Monangai on the field, just like Coach Schiano said he would be.
Dremel's only his 3rd catch of the year. He's been sort of reactivated. He wasn't hurt, but he just wasn't playing. And they've gone back to him today. The whole passing game has opened up through a variety of targets. Now Monangai breaking through and looking healthy all the way down to the 15-yard line. You can't keep number 5 down long.
What did he tell Rhett? He'll play? He'll play indeed. And this is vintage Kyle Monangai. Downhill, through a gap, explode past that second layer and put that third layer in a difficult position. Explosive run, explosive play. This offense is rolling right now in their first possession of the second half.
Almost as many yards on that run as he had all of the first half rushing. That was a 30-yard chunk. Back to him. No. Fake. Miller upended. And a nice gain on first down. Brian Addison there for the tackle.
Every coach is going to make adjustments. Kurt Shiraka, the offensive coordinator for Rutgers, doing his as well as we see a little hurry up.
This was effective at the first half. Then it stalled out. Monangai right into the end zone. Quick strike Rutgers to start this second half.
Keep an eye right there on your tight end. Nice job from Mike Higgins. Tight ends are such a big part as Rutgers is going for 2 here.
Kaliak-Manis to throw. Pressure. Gets away from the first man, but then he goes down. Ramon Henderson came in first. And the 2-point attempt fails. Kane Medrano eventually was the man who kept Kaliak-Manis out of the end zone. But nobody kept Monangai out. Rutgers feeling good out of the locker room. Here in Piscataway, our first college football game played in 1869 in nearby New Brunswick. 155 years ago, the same year the Transcontinental Railroad opened. The population of LA at the time was 5,000 people. And 100 people attended the games. That means 2% of LA's population was at the first college football game of all time.
Oh, that's great.
How about that Rutgers drive?
Pretty impressive. A lot more than 100 people watching that one, I guarantee it. And they did it in a variety of ways. They started this second half off the way they kind of finished it with a corner route again. Dymere Miller, he's really elevated today. Then they go back. How great is it to see Kyle Monungai back on the field? You wondered at the end of the half, would he be back? He was back in a big way, and the tight ends as well. Struggled a little bit in the first half. They make a play there to spring their leader for a touchdown.
TJ Harden to start UCLA's second half. So the question for Rutgers and Joe Harasimiak, what adjustments do you make against an offense that had 300 yards in the first half?
Well, I think both staffs probably assume that possessions are going to be at a premium again. I think that's why we saw Coach Shiano go for the 2-point conversion instead of kick the PAT. Defensively, for this staff, to me, I'd probably play a little bit more zone. Right, they played a lot of man coverage. I think it allowed the backs to take advantage of some matchups. We saw Keegan Jones. We saw, of course, TJ Harden on the touchdown before the half. Let's see if they do that, go against the grain a little bit.
Look at those numbers for Garbers. 224 yards, 21 of 25 passing. Bails on the pocket here and gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Jordan Thompson able to shove him out. This was not only a great half, I mean, it's been a great full game worth of production for UCLA so far today. Last week, 171 in the first half. And by the way, that turned out to be a career-high passing day for Garbers in what was a heartbreaking close loss for Deshaun Foster and the Bruins to Minnesota. Now it's 3rd down and 5.
See how Rutgers matches up. It looks like it's going to be their standard defense. One high safety, man-to-man.
And Garbers gets sacked. Abram right off the edge. One of the young linebackers on this Rutgers team that's getting a new opportunity, and they want to take full advantage of it.
And they simply just win off of the edge. Right comes from depth. They do a little stunt inside. The offensive front for UCLA, Nicky Prom goes to left tackle, never sees right coming. And Rutgers has come out of the half on homecoming. Their hair on fire in Jersey.
This is the punt block team for Rutgers that's out there. That's the way they look at it, not punt return. Brody Richter's first chance because Chase Garbers handled the other punt. That one's muffed, but Drummel's able to jump on it. For Rutgers, after a score, they force the first 3 and out of the day. '69 was a big year for football here. It was also a big year for geology. That's the Rutgers Geology Museum right on campus. Been around since over 150 years. But in 1869, they found the first fully intact mastodon right here in New Jersey. It had 3 sacks that day. It was huge.
That's awesome. It's been fun to see so many people here this weekend on family weekend and homecoming. Families are here, kids are here, everybody's playing catch in the park. Go see the mastodon if you want post game.
Yep. They put on a great show here in the birthplace of college football. This stadium's been rocking this afternoon. And now Rutgers, after a touchdown to start the second half and forcing a 3 and out, the first of the day, goes back to Kyle Monungai. And he breaks a tackle and falls forward for about 5 yards. That's what he does.
Okay, well, Kirk Shiraka, what does he do? He's been around this game for a long time. Really well-respected offensive mind. And let's see if they continue to run away from Oluwafemi Oladejo and Jay Toia.
This time they throw right on the money. Miller, pitch and catch with Dymere Miller today.
I mean, how many times did this staff reference the defensive front and athleticism of UCLA? UCLA playing with 3 linebackers on the field right now, trying to really find a way to get some penetration. But when you get the ball out of the hand like they have, or you run away from the strength like they have, it's advantage Rutgers.
Rutgers likes the tempo today. Back to Monungai. Cut back. Shoulder down. Good luck. It's like tackling a mastodon.
So look, we talk a lot about these tight ends and the ones they lost. You know, this tight end group in the second half has done a much better job. I thought the first half guy, both Mike Higgins and Logan Blake at times struggled. A big part of this run game is them coming from one side of the field to the other, opening up a hole and putting defensive ends in conflict. That's what the former starters did a lot in this offense. They haven't changed a lick in that regard in that run game, and it's worked in the second half.
Monungai out, the freshman Antoine Raymond back in at running back. Pressure coming up the middle, and Kaliak Manis throws it off the fingertips of Logan Blake, the sophomore from Jersey, who's still looking for his first career catch.
I got a feeling this game is going to come down to a handful of plays, man.
Well, you got to feel pretty good if you're Greg Schiano, right? You took a big punch from UCLA in that first half. And here you are with an opportunity to maybe take the lead for the first time today.
Matchup at the top of the screen. Holland Pierce against Oluwadejo.
Oluwadejo backs out. And that was just over his fingertips. Incomplete. And now it's 3rd down and 10.
The whole goal for this defense is to force Ethan Kaliak Manis just to hesitate a hair. That time they almost got him in terms of the look they showed pre-snap and what they ended up playing. Now keep an eye on number 2, where he is aligned. Oluwadejo lined over the left guard, Taj White.
To Monungai after a short breather, and he gets bottled up. Oluwadejo, the first man there. Kane Medrano came to help. Takes everybody to bring him down. Now 4th.
Okay, so the reason you want that athletic, speedy group on the defensive front for UCLA is because you want to force this run game to go side to side. And when you can cross the face of a defender the way Oluwadejo just did, it's advantage UCLA. As here we are in the fringe area, 4th down. It looks like Rutgers, they either go for it or pooch punt here.
They've hit plenty of big plays in the passing game today. They snap it. Kaliak Manis cuts it loose. Complete. Chris Long. And a flag comes in at the end. He took a big hit and held on. His first catch today.
You're watching this play unfold, and I'm thinking this might be intercepted because Swissinger's dropping right into the throwing lane. But again, the accuracy is phenomenal.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 49.
Look at the throw.
Automatic first down.
And then we'll get to the penalty.
Well, it's not just targeting they're looking at. They're looking at a targeting for the leading tackler in the Big Ten, Carson Swessinger, 49. We've got a defenseless player, right, in the process of receiving that catch. And now Chris Coit's going to go and take a look at this with the replay center. We'll try to get a couple more looks at it. Let's see here, Yogi.
Keep an eye on Swessinger right there. To your point, question number 1 is he defenseless? Then you're looking at the head or neck area. And now we're looking for the crown of the helmet.
Well, we can either have the crown or we've got head or neck area forcible contact on a defenseless player. And what I'm having a hard time seeing here is, does Swessinger get him off to the side, or does he get him straight on? Let's bring in Dean Blandino, our rules analyst. Dean, what do you see?
So what I'm looking at a defenseless player, but like you guys just said, I'm seeing the head to the side. I don't see contact with the crown, and I see shoulder to the body. To me, this looks like a legal hit. He is defenseless.
After review, there is no targeting on the play. The result of the play is a first down.
Hey, Dean, just a follow-up. Unlike other plays called on the field, on targeting, you're not looking to confirm, right? I mean, it's a whole new call. The call on the field is irrelevant in targeting. Is that right?
It is, to an extent where you need to see all the elements clearly, and if they're not all there, it's not clear, then you take it off, which is different than other areas of replay where you would let it stand if it wasn't clear.
Very well. Thanks, Dean. So that's a big play on a 4th and 9 for Rutgers, but huge for the yardage, and it keeps Swessinger in the game for UCLA. Kaliak man is keeping it. He gets the edge. And then he gets pulled down after a gain of about 5 yards.
Well, I think to the point for UCLA, obviously good for them to keep their leading tackler and the leading tackler in the lead. But for Rutgers, how about the throw? Right, to stay in there again. The thing that we talked about was a huge key in this game is going to be the accuracy of their quarterback. Now you get into the red zone area and you got to come away, to me, with a touchdown. Remember, they went for 2 on the previous drive to make the score 21-16 instead of a four-point game.
Manungai. And he gets cut down.
There's that one-legged tackle. We talked to Kaika Malloy, the defensive coordinator for UCLA, and they said, look, the style in which Kyle Manungai runs with, right? He's so low to the ground, it's hard to get under his pads. So you got to think of it like wrestling, like rugby. Try to grab that one leg. They did on the previous snap.
Back to tempo, and not much there for Manungai. Schlesinger all around it. Carson Schlesinger's had 4 straight games of double-digit tackles. He's got 6 today.
Again, I go back to that 2-point attempt, guys. We see like an injured player down on the field. But you got to think, if you were Rutgers at the time going for it, you're saying that this game was limited possessions in the first half. That's why you go for it. Now you kick a field goal, chance to make it 21-19 when we come on back.
Tomorrow it's a huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. First at 1 Eastern, the Lions take on the Vikings or other regional action. Then in America's Game of the Week, a Super Bowl rematch. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs battle Brock Purdy and the Niners, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Already 1 4th down conversion on this drive. Now 4th and 5. A 30-yard field goal try here for Jay Patel. And movement up front. It's a big penalty.
False start, offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And still in field goal range.
Don't see it very often, though, right? These special teams coached by the head coach here at Rutgers. Not that big of a deal in terms of the distance, you'd think.
Rutgers went for a 2-point conversion on its last touchdown, didn't get it. And so now to try and make it a 2-point game. Patel 1 for 1 today, and that is right through. Rutgers offense has dominated the second half in terms of time of possession. They were down 11 at the break. But the Scarlet Knights got plenty of fight in them. Right on the Bruins' heels with 5:41 to go in the third. You want great tradition? Homecoming weekend, you got the mattress races on Thursday night. All for charity and our enjoyment. I mean, look at the crowd for the mattress races.
The creativity is phenomenal. Do you grease the wheels? Whatever it takes for a great cause. Love that.
Are we sure that shouldn't be an Olympic sport?
Another version of the luge.
Yeah, summer luge. So after the field goal, 2-point game, and Keegan Jones fair catches it. Let's go to Mike Hill in LA for an all-state game break.
Fellas, Auburn looking for its first conference win of the season at 19th ranked Mizzou. 10-3 game in the third. Auburn punting. Luther Burden, the Mizzou superstar, not making a superstar play there. Mishandles it. Antonio Kite hops on it in the end zone for Auburn. Mizzou's second turnover of the game is 17-3 Auburn in the third.
All right, thanks, Mike. So big upset brewing there over 1 loss to Missouri. Meanwhile, here, 1 win. UCLA had so much momentum, Yogi. They've only had 1 possession in the second half. They went 3 and out. Rutgers has scored a touchdown, kicked a field goal. Ethan Garbers was on fire in the first half, and he starts this drive with Logan Loya. I mean, he's just so reliable. Go back to him and get 8 yards.
Look, I think when you're going up against this defense, work the slot. How about this catch? Watch him reach back. And then I love how he gets north and south, picks up a block from Matavao, his tight end. And he is just so sure-handed, so savvy, steady. Good to see him healthy.
He seems to have such good feel for who's around him. Remember, he had that kind of spin move in the first half where he turned away from the tackler for a first down. This is 2nd and 2. Keegan Jones the back. Garber's looking his way. He's open down the sideline. Keegan Jones is racing. Keegan Jones, nothing but the taillights. Touchdown, Bruins. "67 yards.
Another explosive play, and Ethan Garber sees this one. He comes back all the way from his left to right, uncovered. Moses Walker isn't there. Finds it to Keegan Jones. And to your point, nothing but taillights on the turnpike right here for the Bruins. Another explosive play. Going to take a penalty. I don't think UCLA has enough guys.
Delay a game offense. 5-yard penalty. The try will be attempted from the 8-yard line.
Yogi, you're saying they were down a man, and so they just took the penalty instead of kicking.
Smart move, or taking a timeout. Either way, good decision from Deshaun Foster.
Longest play of the year for UCLA. Good point. Like you don't want to take the timeout there against. I mean, it's hard enough to block Rutgers with 11 guys. These are the kick block kings in red. And UCLA gets it away. The penalty, no harm.
Take a look at this play. So here's linebacker Moses Walker. Here's running back Keegan Jones. As the play develops, the receiver is going to take away both the safety and the corner. And he just gets lost in the shuffle, does Moses Walker. And Keegan Jones, we said it earlier in this ball game, in totality, the most dynamic player for UCLA. They haven't gotten him going all season long. This offense we know has struggled. They found creative ways to get him in space on the opening drive. They found a nice way right there, and Garbers took advantage of it, trusted his eyes left to right. He should be fired up because that was a critical drive as the momentum totally went to Rutgers in this stadium.
That's now career high for Garbers. Back-to-back weeks passing. He threw for 293 last week, 299 today. And what did the Rutgers coaches tell us? They said, look, we're looking at the numbers, and we see a really fast, explosive group of players for the Bruins.
Yeah, what's wild about it is that J. Michael Sturdivant, the guy we started talking the game about, doesn't have a catch. Right? Might be the most explosive one of them all, at least as a wide receiver down the field.
Christian Dremel will fair catch it.
And the thing that I think is probably going to be most frustrating for Rutgers, as you see the explosive plays for touchdowns for the Bruins, is that busted play on the Garbers run. Harden was just well executed, and Keegan Jones busted play too. And I think when you talk about winning in the margins, both coaching staffs talked about that in advance of this game. They both know they needed to win in that regard. Thus far, UCLA doing a nice job.
Let's go down to Rhett on the field. Rhett?
Yeah, guys, the kickoff team just came down here after running that rep and kind of stayed going all the way through the end zone and tried to fire up this UCLA crowd that's down here in the corner of the end zone. It was, however, met with some boos from the Rutgers.
If you're not going to get booed here, where are you going to get booed? Oladejo after a gain of 2 from Manungai with the tackle. Remember, UCLA played, they're used to, they play a home game, everybody comes from the other team. They had 12 to 15,000 Minnesota fans at the Rose Bowl last week, kind of disrupting a little bit of a home field. And plenty of Bruin fans making this. This is a great trip. It's an easy trip.
They came in on Thursday. If you're an alum or a donor, you find your way into the city. Maybe you see a show, and you come on over here for a perfect day in this beautiful stadium.
Kaliakmanis tried to break the pocket, and then Schlesinger brings him down. Schlesinger only had 2 tackles in the first half. He has 5 in the second half.
A nice job in the first half, just Rutgers offensively. They take a listen to this one. He's tracking him the whole time. Eyes up, works his way through it. You know what's really fun about Schlesinger? Rhett told the story about Kyle Manungai earlier. Is he just bet on himself, right? He walked on senior season during COVID. Nobody's recruiting him. So this is where I wanted to play. Now he's got the C on his chest.
His older sister went to UCLA. She just moved out here, so she's at the game today. Kaliak-Manis steps up, and Schlesinger is there. Yeah, I mean, the similarities, 2 of the kind of the heartbeats of these 2 programs, right? Manungai and Schlesinger, you're talking about. Not only both had limited opportunities. Schlesinger's only chance was to walk on at UCLA. Manungai, Ivy Leagues and Cal. Both of them are where they are because their high school coach called the program and said, trust me, take this guy.
And both guys clearly have made their impact felt. What I love watching about Schlesinger on film is that he rarely leaves his feet. Right? Just driving on contact.
Jacob Anderson to punt it away. And Logan Loya's got a fair catch this back at the 30 with 2:33 remaining here in the third quarter. All right, so let's talk about the journey for a young man who goes from unrecruited walk-on to the leading tackler in the league. He's a high school safety, so he arrives, walks on, red shirts, gets awarded a scholarship, is playing well on scout team. Then he's a reserve linebacker. No C on his chest there. C on his chest now. And for more on him, let's go down to Rhett.
Yeah, you know, I think for a lot of, young players that come into a program and have to go on scout team, it can kind of be, in one ear, out the other. Carson Schlesinger used scout team to get better, to understand what he could do for this team. And he developed a relationship with Deshaun Foster, who was the running backs coach at the time, and that's why they trust him.
Another completion to a tight end, Bryce Pierre, here for Ethan Garbers to start this drive and pick up a 6. Yeah, that's a rare opportunity, right? You're a scout team linebacker, and the position coach that you become tight with becomes the head coach.
Well, I think they're just looking for so many players that can reflect the core values of Deshaun Foster. He talks about discipline, respect, enthusiasm being the foundational pillars of the program. And when you look at the linebacker, you see all 3 of them in spades.
Garbers gets it out quick. That is Quasi Gilmer's second catch today.
Yeah, guys, the tight ends were the leaders in the pass game for UCLA in the first half. We were talking about how they were kind of utilizing that position group to find some easy completions. And, I asked Deshaun Foster about that coming off the field at the half, and he said it's not a specific game plan thing. It's just Garbers. It's his ability to find the open man. And you guys remember we were asking him, hey, what was it about Sturtevant last week that found that connection? He was like, he was just getting open. And in this offense, when you get open, I get you the ball.
They're going to sneak it here on 3rd down and short. The second effort gets it. Garber stays on his feet and holds onto the football with all his might.
He's just got a way about him. You're thinking, he might be stuffed here. Look at his feet. They don't stop. That's what you want to teach your quarterback on these QB sneaks. Keep your feet moving no matter what. Stay low. 2 hands on the ball. Almost busts out for another run, and he's saying, hey, how about me yards per carry?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive today.
I don't know because I haven't seen the footage, but it might have looked something like that in 1869, right? That was
old school.
Garber's 6 yards a carry today, since you asked. 49-yard touchdown run in the first half. Jalen Berger, Kyle Manungai's high school teammate, and he's able to get 7 yards. And that's speaking of relationships, right? He had a relationship with Deshaun Foster. He goes to Michigan State, comes here from Michigan State, highly recruited out of the Jersey area, 4-star guy. Manungai was the guy that was overlooked. Manungai would say that, we talked to him this week, he's like, the college coaches, I'd see all these logos come in, and they would maybe give me a courtesy handshake. That's it. They wanted to talk to Jalen. And the third quarter will end. UCLA took an 11-point lead to the half. Rutgers came back out in this third quarter and started to look like maybe they were about to take the lead. But the Bruins have held them off. And with 1 quarter to play, they're looking for their first Big Ten win of the season.
All right, Coach, 9-point lead heading into the fourth quarter here. What do you need to see from your guys to close out your first Big Ten win ever?
Just continue to be detailed, come out and play physical football like we've been doing, and just continue to stop the run.
And for the offense here on this drive to try to pad the lead here a little bit, what do you want to see here?
We want to finish in the paint. You know, we're not going for any points. We want to finish in the paint. That put this game away.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Second down to start this fourth quarter. And it sounds like Deshaun Foster just told Rhett it's all 4-down territory from here. Jalen Berger cuts back, stays on his feet, and he's got the first down.
How about the balance from the New Jersey native? I mean, you're thinking that this is a negative play. What's UCLA going to decide to do? It's the second cut. There's the first one. Here comes the second one. Watch his hand just keep his balance right there. That's impressive. Finds his way to move the sticks. You know how motivated he was coming into this game, coming back home.
Malcolm Ray is down on the field for Rutgers after that first down run for the Bruins, and so we'll step aside here at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Just a perfect day here in Piscataway. Rutgers trailing UCLA right now 28-19. Tomorrow on FS1, it's game 6 of the NLCS. Francisco Lindor and the Mets take on Shohei Ohtani, and the Dodgers coverage begins at 7 Eastern on FS1.
It's kind of fun. The LA, New York vibe across multiple sports.
There's no doubt. Malcolm Ray, the injured Rutgers player, was able to walk off. And so after the timeout, Ethan Garber's taking a shot for J. Michael Sturdivant. And a flag comes in and 2 flags come in. Bo Masco might have got a hold of the jersey.
Yeah, I think he grabbed it around the waist.
They haven't got it Sturdivant yet today.
No, and it's a nice concept. A little switch release at the line of scrimmage.
Pass interference, defense number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I just go to the veteran element of Ethan Garber. He sees pressure coming, and he goes, all right, let me take a shot. Sturdivant wins at the line of scrimmage. Masco says, hey, let me just grab you to eliminate the opportunity for a touchdown. Kind of a good play defensively when you know you get beat. But the recognition from Ethan Garbers has been at his best this season for the Bruins.
Third penalty of the day for Rutgers. Quick throw. Get it out to Gilmer, and he is tackled immediately by Desmond Igbinosun.
Really nice job from Igbinosun, and I think this defense now, they have to rise up if you're Rutgers. For UCLA, you're working the clock a little bit. I get there's a lot of time left in 14 minutes, but you're thinking possessions right now. And you have to balance staying aggressive, working the play clock. I wouldn't be shocked to see them go back to Logan Loya in the slot, or their tight end, Moliki Mataval, both receivers at the top of the screen.
Garbers fakes the delay. Now throws. There's Mataval, the tight end with the catch, and he's down inside the 10. His 5th catch of the day.
It was a really nice concept. They're going to run a corner route right here, and these receivers, they're both going to run little level routes. Both running in routes inside. Watch the corner route again. We've seen it from Rutgers all game long. Now it's the Bruins' turn. And when you have a tight end guy who can stand up, look like a wide receiver, run routes, get in and out of breaks like Mataval, that's a huge advantage.
20 yards on that play. Berger. You know they'd love to get Berger something down in this range, but that was going nowhere.
Well, if he followed the block of his tight end, he had a shot to find his way to the end zone. There's Eric Bieniemy and Deshaun Foster, 2 of the best running backs in college football history. Both spent time in the NFL. Deshaun Foster's time in New York was pretty good when he was in the NFL too.
That's right. When he was a star running back at UCLA, he had his best season in Greg Schiano's first year as a coach here at Rutgers. Now they're facing off in crunch time. 2nd down and goal. Garbers looking. Garbers. He didn't see Berger wide open, but he spins out to the end zone, and he throws it over Loya's head. Berger was waving his arms on the other side of the field.
It's so chaotic sometimes at quarterback on crossing routes. You got to try to see everything, and nothing was clean from Garber's vantage point.
He's been the most hit quarterback in Power 4 football this year.
Not a ton today, and he's done a nice job of anticipating it. Keep an eye on the tight end in the slot at the bottom of the screen. Mataval.
Garbers to Berger. Berger sees red in his home state. Touchdown. Deshaun Foster told his team, one of our brothers has a big game this weekend. We want to get him one. And that's not any ceremonial score. That's a humongous touchdown for UCLA here in the fourth quarter.
This is really impressive. It's crossing routes underneath. I'm thinking they're running that shallow cross, and the whole time Ethan Garbers and company are setting up that little screen to Berger, executed flawlessly.
Pagani nails it. Bruins had their best half of the year in the first half. They're just having their best game of the year.
Yeah, they are. Deshaun Foster told Rhett Lewis they wanted to finish in the paint. They did just that with the homegrown back.
All right, back here in Piscataway with Jalen Berger back in his home state of New Jersey. And after he scored that touchdown, he came out here on the sideline and was absolutely mobbed by his Bruins teammates, jumping up and down around him. There were some even yelling, Don Bosco, Don Bosco, the name of his high school here that he shared, of course, with Kyle Monungai. And by the way, guys, I had this series, right, between Monungai and Rutgers and Jalen Berger at 1-1. So this might be the rubber match here, fellas.
Oh, yeah, but can you count Michigan State? All right. How about Ethan Garbers? I mean, this has been, it's a career day by almost every measure.
Oh, he's putting the Big Ten on notice, saying, I want to be the offensive player of the week after this performance. He's done it every which way. Again, I go back to that word discernment. Bill Walsh used to use it all the time. Making the right decision, putting the ball in the proper spot. He's done it in a variety of ways. First reaction throws, getting outside the pocket, and then setting up the screen. I mean, he's played graduate level football for a guy who's been around this game for quite some time. And look, it's been hard being Ethan Garbers the first half of this season with all the pressure in the backfield. The offensive line changes. He showed up today in a huge way.
Kaliak-Manis throws complete to Ben Black, and Black gets out of bounds just shy of the line to gain. I mean, Monungai's got 6 yards of carry in this game, but now's not really, can you use him here?
Well, you want to use him in some element, whether it's a decoy out of the backfield. They didn't use him a lot in the passing game, but he is incredible in protection.
Quick throw behind Black, incomplete, flag down. Brian Addison was the man who made the hit. And we'll check on this penalty, and certainly in the range of targeting.
Well, you can hear it all the way up here. I mean, there's been some clicking going on today.
After discussion, there is no foul on the play. The contact was ruled legal.
All right. Chris Coit, thank you for that explanation.
Yeah, look to me when you watch this, see the play unfold here. Let's see how this thing shakes out. Again, they're both just playing the ball.
Play is under review
regard.
for potential targeting.
But now replay has stopped it.
Head is up. Look, and I'm okay with them looking at every one of these. I think targeting has really benefited the game in a huge way. But on that play, as Addison's playing the ball, I don't necessarily see it, Guy.
So Chris Coit going to the replay monitor. Certainly the receiver, you know, is defenseless. But let's see what Dean Blandino thinks. Dean, what do you see?
thought it was a good
After
flag
review,
pickup by the
there is no
official.
targeting on the play. It's second down.
And that's the right decision. The defender has a right to play the football.
Correction.
He was trying to play the ball.
Third
He
down.
wasn't targeting the receiver with forcible contact to the head neck area. It's just a collision. Good no call for targeting.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dean.
All right, so now for Rutgers, it's third down.
And 1. 2 extra offensive linemen out there. And Kaliak-Manis gets the first.
And I think when you look at the score, you're thinking, okay, Bruins got this thing. No way. I mean, the way Rutgers moved the ball at times in this ball game, I would imagine they're going to find that rhythm again. Not true 2-minute offense, but one with true tempo. Kaliak-Manis has had a day today. He's found ways to get his receivers the ball in a variety of ways. He's been extremely accurate. They got a chance to move the ball down the field here. They got to have a little bit of urgency.
Their 2 touchdown drives, Yogi, are combined 6.5 minutes. So they have really, their touchdown drive to start this half was just over 2 minutes. Kaliak-Manis into coverage, and that's broken up. KJ Duff, the intended receiver, and that was well covered by Devin Kirkwood.
He's all over this thing. Just sitting on the route was Kirkwood. And I think right now for UCLA, they're saying, hey, we're going to play man-to-man coverage. Let's see if you can beat us in that regard. If I'm Rutgers, I'm coming back to the slot. Find a way to get Dymere Miller the ball. He's matched up at the bottom of the screen against KJ Wall. It's been a fun matchup to watch all game long, and they might be double covering him with a safety over the top.
Kaliak-Manis looking for Miller. Now he's going to come back to the near sideline to KJ Duff, and he's got it all the way down inside the 10-yard line.
Man, if you love receiver play, guy, this is so fun because it's a win at the line of scrimmage on the release. Kaliak-Manis looks the safety off, comes right back, an absolute dime to the freshman Duff, and they're in business.
So Strong and Duff, 2 young receivers, have big games today. Monangai bounces it, and he's in. Rutgers right back into the end zone.
You know, we saw some fans start to leave after UCLA scored.
Bring them back, bring them back.
Listen to the radio or this broadcast on FS1. See if you can reverse course. Bring it on back for homecoming. A lot of ball left, guy, as Rutgers going to go for 2 here.
Already failed on 1 2-point today. They're down 16. So now they got it down to 10, trying to get it to 8. Kaliak-Manis, quick throw. He's got it out to Miller. Miller tackled shy of the end zone. Brian Addison with another big play.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a ball game. But how about this ball game for KJ Duff down the field? Beats the veteran Devin Kirkwood, and all of a sudden the momentum, you thought it was all about the Bruins. Rutgers says no, we got an explosive play, and then they find the man they trust the most, Kyle Monangai, playmaker.
Ten-point game here at Rutgers. There's the Yogi Roth cheering section. Was there. And a fair catch for UCLA after the Rutgers touchdown, but they could not convert the 2 points. So still a 2-score game for the Bruins. And Ethan Garber's having himself a day. Ethan Garbers will be able to tell about his great game at Rutgers like you do, Yogi.
Yeah, sure have. Last time I was in this stadium, we were playing for the Pitt Panthers, and that family right there, they were here in attendance. Sister, her kids, and my dad. So fun to get east and get back to the roots a little bit.
Quick throw to Harden. Greg Schiano said, hey, are you the guy that had the 15-yard?
Yeah, sure was. That dig route heard around the world. Yeah. I can just remember his programs back in the day in the Big East. They were so tough, so gritty, always a tough out. And then that just continued to grow, and now he's back leading this program, and there's no way they're going to lay down. Part of their mantra is chop. Just keep chopping wood. Just keep going back to work. They need to stop here on 2nd and 10.
10 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. 3-man rush. Garbers. There is Monteval. The tight end has been so clutch today in big spots, long yardage, wide open.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ethan Garbers, his ability to step up and climb in the pocket. He feels a little pressure, climbs no problem, eyes always downfield, finds what has been his favorite target today in Monteval. It's just so impressive. And I just go back to Rutgers, guy. I mean, they're missing 2 of their best edge rushers in Aaron Lewis and Wesley Bailey, guys that traditionally get home.
Harden puts his head down for a couple. That puts a lot of pressure on DJ Jabome, Keontae Hamilton.
And the way that they're checking it down, the way they're deploying all of their receivers. I mean, the spacing today for Deshaun Foster and Eric Bieniemy, this offense for UCLA, has been as impressive and efficient as we've seen all season. Look at them now, right? They're spreading out, really just challenging the eyes of the defense and those linebackers that you referenced.
Garbers flips it to Gilmer. First down.
Bring pressure. Garbers can feel it. I think earlier in the season, it felt as though he wasn't seeing ghosts, but it felt as though you're anticipating pressure. Garbers on that snap knew pressure was coming, stayed not tall, but strong in the pocket, knew that his receiver was eventually going to be open on a crosser, delivered the strike. Chains continue to move. Clock continues to roll.
31 of 36, 375 yards. Harden keeps the clock moving. Yeah, what a journey for Ethan Garbers, right? He's from Southern California, Newport Beach, goes up to University of Washington, thinks maybe he'll be the next guy there, comes to UCLA, and you know, obviously UCLA had a quarterback named Dorian Thompson-Robinson who had a long career, and so you're sitting, you're waiting, get the opportunity. Last year, coaching change, coordinator change, learning a new offense. You wonder, will it ever come together in time for me, right? That had to cross his mind. And it looks like it is. Keegan Jones dancing several times before he finally gets tripped up. Clock running under 7.5.
Is it critical down here? You got to imagine Rutgers going to start to utilize their timeouts here, pending what happens on this 3rd down. 2-possession game. But you're right for Garbers. It really came together last year in the bowl game. Remember, Dante Moore was the starting quarterback. Back and forth all season long last year. They struggled.
Highly recruited, right?
Highly recruited, as was Garbers. He's a 4-star Elite 11 quarterback too. But such a big part of this position is dealing with adversity. Rutgers trying to cause some right here.
Big 3rd down. Garbers pressure, just gets it out to avoid the sack. Jordan Walker was bringing the heat, and now it's 4th and 7.
And there was nowhere to go with the ball. UCLA decides to take a shot down the field on a little double move. Nothing doing. There really was no outlet. You're going to see right here, these 2 receivers, they're going to go down the field. Garbers wants to take a shot. There's no real outlet. That's covered up. Garbers has to eat it, take the sack.
And so now the field goal team on. Mateen Bagani to try and hit a 50-yarder. His career high was 54 against Oregon about 3 weeks ago. Out of the hole to Chase Berry. And whistles. The practice kick.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Wow.
4th down.
What a bad spot for a delay a game.
Deshaun Foster talked to us earlier this week about 8 plays. Every game it's been about 8 where they've really hurt themselves. This is one of those situations.
That kick had plenty of leg.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about kick block university on the other side, right? This is what Rutgers does. So now it's 55.
55
Pulls away. It's got the leg, but he pulled it. And the penalty comes back to bite UCLA, and the deficit for Rutgers stays at 10.
He's got such a big leg, so you don't really question the decision. It just missed it a ways to his left. And Rutgers is in business. Good field position, timeouts, all three. They didn't have to use one because of that play where Garbers threw it away on the third down. They got pressure on him, almost forced a sack. They get a penalty, a negative play on the Bruins. Here comes Rutgers, clearly in tempo mode. Again, you don't have to be frenetic right here, just like they did on the previous drive.
That drive resulted in a touchdown and a failed 2-point. Kaliak-Manis steps up on the back hit where it's caught by KJ Duff.
And that's the one, that's the miss. That's a spot throw. You put it on the front number, and Duff is still running. Nice job climbing the pocket.
What a
nice catch.
Second really nice catch for Duff today. Back to Monungai. Monungai's stiff arm and Kane Madrano brings him down, but after a Rutgers first down.
Man, you know, you coming into the game, Kyle Monungai is a little banged up. They're wondering how healthy, how explosive can he be. Every time, guy, that he touches the rock, you stand up on your toes a little bit because he's got a shot to take it the distance. He's so explosive once he gets through that initial defensive front.
Pressure picked up. Kaliak-Manis, long throw, intercepted. Brian Addison steps up and takes it away.
Four times today, Rutgers has ran that route. 4 for 4. On the 5th time, Addison is waiting for it, sitting on it. He's going to be your safety. You'll see him as the play unfolds. He drops to that cover 2 corner, and then he drives right there on the route. That disguise from Akaika Malloy is as good as you're going to see this weekend in college football. It looks like it's single high safety. On the snap, he drops to 2 high, and as the play unfolds, he drives on that corner route. Sudden change. Turnover for the Bruins, and Addison gets another interception on the season.
He had a pick 6 against Oregon. That's the first turnover of the day for either team. And now here's Berger feeling his way forward to midfield. You're right, Yogi. Dymere Miller had feasted on that route today for Rutgers, the wide receiver.
And it was the right concept again. And it was the right read from Kaliak-Manis. Whenever you're seeing those 2 high safeties, you got an opportunity for that. They call it a hole shot, the hole in the defense. It was just a better play from the secondary UCLA, notably Brian Addison.
It's the first 100-yard rushing game for UCLA this year. Play clock low, UCLA using all of it, and they go back to Berger. And let's go down to Rhett.
Talked to Deshaun Foster's quarterback back when he was with the Carolina Panthers, went to a Super Bowl together, Jake Delhomme, and asked Jake, you know, if there was anything he saw from their time together that made him think Deshaun was going to be a successful head coach. Well, he said a couple of things. He was universally beloved and respected in the locker room. He had such attention to detail, such discipline in that regard, and he was one of the toughest dudes around. His love for the game allowed him to play through so much. Yogi, that sound familiar? A little DRE right there?
Yeah, look, when he got the job, I remember being there day 1. See the back of Deshaun Foster's hat right there? It had the initials DRE for discipline, respect, and enthusiasm. See right there in the back of his ball cap. Quick circle right there for you. Pretty cool for the Bruins, but it's really been pillars that he learned as a child. Son of a military man, discipline has been the core of him. Same thing when he was just coaching the running backs. And so much about this team and their struggle, right? They faced one of the toughest stretches, if not the toughest stretch in America, is respect for the craft and preparing every week, and then bringing enthusiasm every single time you hit that practice field. We've seen that today in all 3 areas of his principles.
Third down here. Garbers, tough catch on the recatch. It's made by Mokiawa Timalala. That ball was up in the air and he snagged it with a man on his back.
I thought it was going to be intercepted. How about this? They throw the ball. Catch one. Hard to see from that angle, but from up here, you're thinking, is this going to be an interception? Ball up in the air. How about that? This receiving core down 2 talented players. Carter Shaw not going today. Rico Flores not going today.
Fullback Leo Kemp has come into the game for UCLA here on first down, and they'll run it to Berger. To the point on Deshaun Foster, his dad, you said military man, right? A Marine and a
Rutgers,
boxer in the Marines.
30 seconds.
So when we talk about discipline, Deshaun Foster told us that means 8 minutes early to the meeting.
Tuck the shirts in.
No headphones getting off the bus, right? That's Deshaun Foster's UCLA.
And look, it's so hard when you take over a program. I mean, it's so hard to do it, especially in terms of the timing when Deshaun Foster was hired. Then he brings in this offensive staff and the timing. And then you look at the schedule. There's just so many things that you got to battle against, and you just want to stay steady. And he has done that, right? And for the UCLA program, they announced a new collective this week in NIL. They feel really healthy about where the program is going in the future. They just wanted it all come together. And today, while the game is still only a 2-possession game with, I think, enough time for Rutgers to make some noise, the Bruins and Deshaun Foster should be feeling pretty good right now, approaching 3 minutes left in the game.
Handoff inside to Berger. For Garbers today, the 383 passing yards, the most since Dorian Thompson-Robinson back in 2019. So it's been a prolific passing day for him. And you wonder, how do you wake up? This is a 9 a.m. body clock game. But as Deshaun Foster told us, he's like, look, we've played. Right, we go to Hawaii, which is, you know, we know it's not, there's not enough room on the map for Hawaii to be where it's supposed to be. LSU, Penn State.
And it's not going to slow down, right? They got to go to Lincoln, they go to UW, the most miles traveled in the Big Ten. I mean, it's a challenge, but they haven't flinched in that regard. And honestly, when you look at this team, a little love for the old throwback.
Oh, that's a good looking jersey.
That is a good looking jersey. But yeah, you go on the road at LSU, you feel really good at halftime. Moving the ball against Penn State to shut down the running game. I just think that this is a team that has to continually evolve. You know, year one for any coach in this era, and especially in this league, is going to be a challenge. They've answered the bell, though, just like he'd hoped they would in that boxing analogy he uses every single week with this program.
Third down, looking to throw again. Garbers, ball came out, and it's taken away. Rutgers has the football.
The ruling on the field is a fumble that was caught by the defense. It's 1st and 10.
Keontae Hamilton just took it away right into his stomach. UCLA throwing on third down.
Yeah, surprising call here to throw it. And you're right, Hamilton, remember, he moves from tackle to end in this ball game due to injuries for Rutgers. And he makes a huge play, and again, field position opportunity for the Scarlet Knights. And they got a lot of time, and they got a lot of life right now here on homecoming with the ball back. What a play, and for Garbers, his first negative play of the game. You know, you got to understand the situation. It seemed like he tried to tuck it, but that big-bodied Hamilton at 6'4", 304 was right in his grill.
A former wrestler, he's a star, a heavyweight in high school, of course, and then at Rutgers he wrestled as well. Now Callie McManus, big pump, loading up, big throw, into coverage, a lot of contact, incomplete, looking for Miller.
Double move, looked like both players then are running out of bounds before coming on back in. But how about Keontae Hamilton? He's a great story. 25th start today. Got engaged in this very stadium. I mean, it's awesome to learn about these players when we're on campus. But now for this offense, they got to continue to find a way. I'd work in between the hashes guy. For UCLA, they got to keep everything in front.
Manungai. He looks as fresh as the moment this game started, and he was on the injury report. He was questionable to start this game, left the game at the end of the first half with an injury, returned in the second half, and he's running hard. Now it's 3rd down, 4 to go. Kaliakmanis to the sideline, caught first down, Christian Dremel.
The biggest thing for UCLA is while you're playing off, you can't allow Rutgers just to move their way down the field. I'm a big fan of these situations. Got pressing the receivers a little bit, trying to force the ball out of the quarterback's hands, see if you can impact the throw.
Sideline again, Dremel again, first down again.
The Rutgers keeping their same personnel grouping out on the field, forcing UCLA to stay the same way. The Bruins roll with 3 linebackers, Ali Cajo, number 10, being the 3rd, the 3.
Kaliakmanis steps up, and he gets down after a gain of 2 or 3. Not a lot of push on the defensive line right now.
None at all. I mean, they're all standing up, just trying to make sure they keep everything in front of them. They look they look tired out there, but they're not. There's zero pass rush that we've seen in the last 2 snaps. They're trying to mirror the quarterback.
This comes out to Ben Black, trying to get to the sideline. He can't, as he's twisted up by Kirkwood, and we tick towards 2 minutes, and they get another play off here. No, they cannot. So 2-minute timeout. Rutgers with some late life after the UCLA turnover. UCLA
2-minute timeout.
Come all the way across the country looking for its first Big Ten win ever. But the work's not done yet. Rutgers with a glimmer of hope. Coming up on College Football Extra, sponsored by Defender, is Indiana for real? Miami aiming for perfection, and USC struggles under Lincoln Riley. That's all coming up on College Football Extra, sponsored by Defender. Big 3rd down here. I know Yogi wants to answer, is Indiana for real? They're up 49-7 on Nebraska right now. Trying to get to 7-0. 3rd down and short in a 2-point game here for Rutgers. Pressure coming. Kaliakmanis throws too high for Chris Long, and now a late flag comes in. It would have been 4th and 1, and a penalty.
Oh, what are those pillars again? Discipline. I mean, come on, man.
Play. Personal foul. Defense number 11. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
And you just got to know when to pull up, right? I mean, the ball's out of bounds. I know it's hard. It's the extension of the arms. That's where they're going to call it. It's an easy call for the officials. And it would have been a tough decision for Rutgers. Do they kick the field goal, or do they go for it on 4th and short? Now they got life on first down inside the 15.
Monangai stands beside Kaliakmanis. Pressure coming. Throws it. End zone, batted away, and a flag comes in on Jalen Davies.
Yeah, I think Davies is holding that left arm. Again, you're looking to see, is the receiver, is he impeded?
Defense number 6, the foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Take a look at it. Yeah, it's that left arm. Those are hard if you're a DB. I get it, man. But anytime there's any sort of struggle from a receiver catching one of those fade balls, they're going to call the flag, the PI.
Going to Duff, and it's broken up, and a flag comes in.
It's the same thing. It's the right arm around his back. Anytime the receiver cannot freely get access to the ball.
Pass interference. Defense number 6, half the distance to the goal. It's first down.
You'll see it again. See that right arm of Davies? The official staring right at it. A little bit of a pull on the jersey. There it is.
You've got Monangai, but you also don't have any timeouts.
That's right.
And the clock really matters.
Well, zone read right here, opportunity.
They'll give it to him. And Monangai is shy. So now it's 2nd and goal, but seconds are coming off the clock.
Yeah, look, you don't want to be frenetic. You want to call the right play right now. You know, if you score a touchdown, you're going to kick the onside kick. You score here, save yourself a little bit of time in that regard.
The ruling of the runner short of the goal line is under review.
All right, so we'll see if we can get a look at this here.
Okay, so now if you're Rutgers, you're giving your offense 2 plays. And you're saying, okay, this is what we're running right here. If we don't get in, if we don't get in again, here's the next play. As we take a look to see if Monangai is in the first place.
Oh, just hard to know. I mean,
is he down?
Yeah, where's a knee? Can we see? I see a lot of knees. I'm just not sure if I see his. He definitely breaks the plane with the ball, right? Yeah. I think that might be a touchdown. Let's see what Dean Blandino thinks.
So this is one of those plays where you're going to have to piece angles together. This end zone shot shows that he's up. You're looking for a body part, a knee, a shin. Looks like he's up, and then if we go to that goal line look, when he eventually hits the ground on his back, the ball is over the line. To me, if you can piece these angles together, which they have access to all of our angles, and that's what they're doing, they can make this a touchdown, because it does look like the first thing that hits the ground is his back, and the ball is breaking the plane at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dean. I think he's on top of KJ Wallace, and he's not on the ground when he breaks the plane.
Which also means they put time back on the clock, so that's part of what they're looking at here. If they're going to rule it a touchdown, they're going to put time back on.
There's so much going on now on the headsets, not just with the officials, but with both coaching staffs. Right, you're preparing, are we on defense? Preparing the hands team.
After review, the runner did break the goal line plane. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Kyle Monangai broke in.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute 45 seconds. 1 minute 45, please.
And now it's a 4-point game with an extra point coming.
Monangai in homecoming games. I think there's something in common there. Him making plays, putting this team on his back.
He had 148 yards last year when Rutgers scored 21 unanswered to come back and beat Michigan State on homecoming. Now Jay Patel on for the point after to make it a field goal game, and he does.
Tell you what, both of these teams, look at Kyle Monangai. First half, end of that half, you're thinking, is he going to play in the rest of the game? Second half, from the opening drive to the most recent one, found his way to the end zone. 3 total touchdowns, and now you're an onside kick away, getting a chance to tie it or take the lead in this game. And if there's one thing we know about Rutgers, is where are they elite? Special teams. Greg Schiano, he oversees the whole program, but he micromanages this special teams unit. Whether you're watching him like we did yesterday in practice or just following the trajectory of his entire coaching career, this thing is detailed. And watching them kick onside kicks yesterday, everyone looked clinic-worthy, guy. Perfect bounce, great location. So for UCLA, you've got to be on this. Immediately anticipate that second bounce.
Jay Patel is going to set it up to kick. Logan Loy and J. Michael Sturdivant are on the second level of the hands team for the Bruins. And now Deshaun Foster is going to take a timeout.
Timeout, UCLA, their first of the half, 30 seconds.
That's the right move from Deshaun Foster. Again, his first year as a head coach, and all these situations, for the most part, are his first in terms of being the lone voice to make the call. Right, we saw it last week on a 4th down. You decide to go for it, you get a punt it when you have the lead in the game. Here with a timeout, just to see the shell of what that kickoff team is going to look like. Now it's just a couple reminders to his return team, the hands unit. The biggest key to me, Guy, on the hands team for the return team is you have to attack the ball. You do not want to sit back and all of a sudden start to retreat. You have to go attack this thing at its highest point.
Sounds like a scary place to be. So Patel's going to set it up again. UCLA has added Keegan Jones back deep on this return team. Here comes Patel. Big hop, and it's caught. UCLA is going to put this game away. Touchdown. Wow. Grant Gray. That's as good as it gets. Not everything's gone perfect for UCLA today, but the stuff that has gone really well. That's all you can dream of if you're on the hands team, Yogi.
You know, oftentimes after that happens, you just slide down. But with everything the Bruins have been through in this stretch of games, he said, no, all the way to the house.
And now whistles. Unbelievable. Well, if you're going to get your first Big Ten win ever, it's not supposed to be easy. That's not easy. But it will go down as a special day there for Grant Gray, who's never touched the football on offense, his first career touchdown.
Previous play is under review for a potential fair catch signal given by the receiving team.
So if anybody gives a fair catch signal, then it's a fair catch, even if it's not the person who catches the ball. So let's see if we see a fair catch signal.
Let's look at that front line.
Ooh,
oh,
yep.
There it is, right there.
Logan Loya. Now keep in mind, we're reviewing for this touchdown. Rutgers has no timeouts. There's 1:40 left in the game.
Yeah, I mean, for UCLA, the game should be over regardless with possession. But yeah, there it is right there. Loya, to your point. It's catch by the officials. Fair catch. Anytime there's possession on the receiving team, the ball is dead there. There he is again. The veteran who's had a heck of a game, too.
After review, there was a valid fair catch signal given by the receiving team. The ball is dead where possessed, which is the kicking team's 45-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute 45 seconds. 1:45, please.
So that changes the score, and everybody still had fun on that play, even though it doesn't stand.
Grant Gray's going to have something to say to.
Yes.
I mean, come on, brother, help me out. To Logan Loya, but overall for this team.
Well, it's all smiles too, right? 1:45. Rutgers has no timeouts, and so victory formation for UCLA.
Just want to play smart here if you're the Bruins. Tremendous discipline here at the end. What a hard-fought game. Both sides. Eric Bieniemy. Good for him and Deshaun Foster and Coach Shiano. He was so excited to see some young players play. He said, hey, our guys are going to play. They're not going to lay down. They didn't. They played the whole game. They fought. They battled. Came up just a few plays short.
Well, what about for UCLA, right? Their fans, they've seen one of the toughest schedules in all of college football this year. And then they saw a heartbreaking close home loss last week at Minnesota, or at home to Minnesota. And they had to go all the way across the country for their first Big Ten win, but they're going to get their first Big Ten win.
Yeah, well, the good thing about going all the way across the country and getting that first win is that flight all the way back across the country that I know they will enjoy, and they should, to your point. I mean, I think the most challenging stretch in the nation. I mean, Indiana, look at them. They should be a top 10 team based on what we've seen from them this season. We'll see them in person next week. LSU, Oregon, Penn State, to your point on Minnesota. I mean, it's just been brutal for them. But that's what you get every week for the most part in the Big Ten. The Bruins, nobody gave them any favors, and today they came out. And as head coach Sean Foster told us and told his team this week, he said, look, you've got to earn it. They have earned their first Big Ten Conference win. And Ethan Garbers, I got a feeling he's not going to be giving that ball away anytime soon.
Game ball worthy performance for him. 383 yards, career high, 4 passing touchdowns, a 49-yard rushing touchdown. Deshaun Foster takes over at his alma mater. And after a slow start, he told us we are still so energized, and he got them their first Big Ten win ever. He's with Rhett Lewis. Rhett?
Coach, long time coming. You knew your team was getting close, especially after last week. What can you say about the patience and the dedication to your plan that allowed for your team in this moment to get their first Big Ten win?
You know, we have a lot of resilient players, and they believe in the coaching and the coaches. You know, just the way that they approach our game every week.